Ah, the Ffarquhar branch. Never has any Southern railway line received such popularity and widespread fandom. The branch has been idolized around the world thanks to its heavy use in the television series. Today we'll be trainspotting along the branch, mostly focusing around the village that gave the line its name, Ffarquhar. Ffarquhar is a small village at the tail end of the branch, thereby serving as the line's terminus. It's a small, quiet place, with the main industry being the large and over stone quarry just outside the village. Most of the village's inhabitants work for the site in some way. The quarry itself is among the island's most profitable companies, and sees a large export of stone for construction. Ever since it gained railway access in 1926, it has become one of the railway's most important contracts. But enough talking, let's get started. Ffarquhar station has just a single platform, a small yard, an engine shed, a goods shed, and a carriage shed. The engine sheds also double up as a maintenance facility, if the need arises. There's no main station pilot, partly due to the size of the yard not necessitating one, but also due to the fact that all of the branch's roster are capable of shunting. On that note, let's quickly sum up the engines we'll be meeting today. The main roster of the branch consists of 5 engines: Thomas, Toby, Percy, Flora, and Whiff. Flora and Toby are mostly in charge of the branch's passenger operations. Percy and Whiff mostly handle the goods trains, and Thomas usually takes care of the branch's longer distance service. Most of the Ffarquhar trains terminate at Elsbridge, but the longer distance one runs all the way to Tidmouth. It does so a few times a day. Right, now that we're fully introduced, let's head to Ffarquhar for a nice day of train spotting. We're in the early hours of the day, and we see Thomas and Whiff getting ready for today's work. Thomas has the first train out of Ffarquhar, so he's getting ready for that. Whiff has the morning goods train, but it's a bit later than Thomas. In order for the branch's services to remain sturdy in punctuality, the passenger trains have priority over the goods trains. As so, Thomas has the right of way to start, which is also important given that the first train runs all the way to Tidmouth. And off he goes. We'll see him later today. But one thing you might notice though is that he isn't pulling Annie and Clarabel. He's pulling the Northwestern Railway's standard commuter carriages with a cab car. The reason to why Annie, Clarabel, also Henrietta, Victoria and Elsie aren't present is because they aren't used anymore. They're retired and are now a part of the Southern Railway Museum. They take part in excursion trains around the island. And luckily, one is happening today, running from Knapford, which is the home base of the museum, all the way to Ffarquhar. We'll get to see it later in this video. For now though, we'll see Mavis arrive in the yard with the first stone train of the day. It's mining season for the quarry, so they're overseeing a large amount of stone for export. The quarry has 2 private engines, Mavis and Ralph. They bring vast loads of stone trains to Ffarquhar, where another engine brings it down to Elsbridge Harbour. The harbour in question was established during the late 1940s, in order for the quarry's stone to be shipped quicker. This was due to demand skyrocketing following World War II. The line to the harbour also serves as the railway connection to one of Soder's airports, Elsbridge Central Airport. Originally built as the island's main airport, it has since been replaced by a much larger one near Kilstorp Road. Wow, I'm yapping a lot. I hope you can follow along. Anyway, after Whiff is coupled to the train, he sets on his way. With Whiff now on his way with the stone train, the station remains quiet for a bit, but not too long after, we see Flora arrive with the first passenger train from Elsbridge. Flora came to the island right after World War II as post-war help. The railway took aboard any available engines, even ones that didn't seem like good choices. Some examples also include Emily for the main line and Jackson for the Little Western. Whiff and Flora were both part of this investment, and they both ended up on the Ffarquhar branch. Anyway, the train isn't to leave soon, so Flora has some time to get serviced. While she's being serviced, we see Percy arrive with a common goods train. These are fairly common on the branch, and Percy is usually the one that handles them. After some servicing and a quick rinse, Flora is on the way again, now headed towards Elsbridge. Percy does a bit of shunting in the yard before he likewise heads on his way again. We're now much later in the day, and we see Toby arrive with a passenger train from Elsbridge. In the yard we see Ralph waiting. He's waiting for Whiff, who's returning to Ffarquhar with empty wagons, heading back to the quarry. Ralph is there to pick them up, we just need Whiff. And there he is. After a quick stop, Ralph is on his way and Whiff heads to the sheds for a quick rest. Toby meanwhile is switching coaches for his return run, given that the others have to be cleaned. After a quick switch, Toby is on his way again. We're later in the day now, and there in the distance we see the highlight of today. A special train consisting of all the branch's former coaching stock. Annie, Clarabel, Henrietta, Victoria and Elsie are all present. As can be seen, the special train is quite packed, even necessitating an additional coach just so there's room for the passengers. Quite the service, and is hauled by Donny, a former Highland Railway engine who retired in 1989 and was subsequently picked up by the Sutton Railway Museum. Donny is quite an active engine with the museum's excursion trains, and today was no exception. The special stays at Ffarquhar for a bit, but it does have to make room for Thomas to arrive with the longer distance service. Luckily, Thomas is conveniently in position to have a quick chat with Annie and Clarabel. Considering that he doesn't see him as often as before, a quick catch-up is always enjoyed. It's a bit packed in Ffarquhar at the moment, but there's still enough space for Percy to pull in with another goods train. Percy usually takes 3 or 4 of these goods runs a day. This is the third one for today. It's a smaller one, which is perfect for the circumstances, but it doesn't change the fact that Ffarquhar is quite packed, so it's time to change that. Thomas has another longer distance service to go, so he has the right of way. A bit after Thomas has left, Donny gets ready for the return journey to Knapford. He'll be following Thomas along the way, although he'll be using the loop line starting at Lower Knapford in order to stay clear of the main line. After he has left, Whiff gets ready for his final goods run of the day. Percy's already done, so he'll be heading to the sheds to rest. With Whiff out of the yard, Percy has some time alone. Although, after a bit, Flora returns with a passenger train, which is her final run of the day. After shunting the coaches into the carriage sheds, she heads along to join Percy. After a lot of peace, Mavis arrives with another stone train. Now, considering that Percy and Flora are done with their work for today, who will be taking this train? Well, that'll be the final engine working on the branch today, Thomas. After returning with his final passenger run for the day, Thomas will bring the stone train to the harbour, after which he'll stay at Elsbridge. The stone train will be the final service leaving Ffarquhar for today, which in turn concludes our train spotting session. Thank you very much for watching.